Brothers and sisters in Croatia, hello. I am speaking to you in English for those of you who speak English so I can go through my podcast. I try very hard with my Croatian and I know it'll get better and better as I'm practicing more and more. But yesterday was Thanksgiving Day here in America. I'm in Indiana celebrating with my family. And as disciples, of course, we're commanded to be thankful. We are thankful on a daily basis. We realize how much God has done for us. First Thessalonians says, rejoice always, pray without ceasing, always giving thanks to God in everything, for this is the Lord's will for you in Christ Jesus. This is a command of God to be grateful, but it's a command that is really, again, for our good. Gratitude unlocks the doors to receive more than you have right now. As maturing disciples, we learn, of course, to deal with reality. Reality is difficult. It is hard. Jesus promised, in this world you will have trouble. But here are some things that close the doors to the future. Cynicism, pessimism, bitterness. Those things shut the doors to ideas, to inspiration, to opportunities. And so even though life is hard, I want to urge you not to let it defeat you. But to keep the gratitude that will keep opening the doors for us to receive more than we have right now. It opens the doors to progress, to joy, to ideas, to opportunities, to growth. And if you will be thankful for what you currently have, the door is open to receive more and to build on that. The second thing about gratitude is growing to be mature disciples who are always grateful for what we have, but at the same time desiring more and more. And Paul was a great example of this. Paul certainly had great desires to accomplish as much as possible. 1 Corinthians 9:19, he says, though I am free and belong to no one, I have made myself a slave to everyone to win as many as possible. I have become all things to all people so that by all possible means I might save some. And then in Romans 15:20, it has always been my ambition to preach the gospel where Christ was not known, so that I would not be building on someone else's foundation. But that ambition to preach the word around the world. Colossians 1:29, to this end I strenuously contend with all the energy Christ so powerfully gives me. So we see he had a lot of desire to grow, to do more, but he also had a contentment and a gratitude for what he currently had. 1 Timothy 6:6 says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of the world. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. And Philippians 4:12, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every circumstance. Whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want, I can do all things through Him who gives me strength. That gratitude for any circumstance. And you see that in Acts chapter 16, verse 25, at midnight, that Paul and Silas were praying and singing to God in prison after having been arrested. So let's strive to have a contentment with where we're at with our life, even as we are desiring more. One idea as well that's helped me so much personally is where Jesus warns against all kinds of greed. In Luke 12:15, he says, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. And the opposite of greed is contentment. And so when Jesus tells us to be